Alright, welcome back everyone. Welcome back. We had a bit of network glitch in the previous sections. We are back, still in data validation, data security, and data formatting, conditional formatting. We are back. I remain Mr. Franklin, a seasoned data analyst, data analysis scholarship cohort 2. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen, and let me know what you can see right away on your screen. Drop in the chat what can you see right away on your screen. And if you are with me here, if you are with me now, please rush to the scholarship group. Also, let them know we are back. Let them start coming back. Inform them to start joining. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. One way is Michael, you are welcome. That I need your name, your scholarship ID, and your location. That is our attendance. Your name, your location, your scholarship ID. Blessing, you are welcome back. Please, let's get to the scholarship group and let them know we are back once again. We had a bit of network glitch, and by the grace of God, we are back. If you can hear me, drop in the chat, drop in the comment. You can hear me. All right, you. Yes, I can see watching. Beautiful. Now, without further ado, let's proceed with what we have. We already behind schedule this night. Okay. In the previous section, we have that you can protect your workbook. You can protect your entire workbook. That when anybody please, can we hear me? I guess we are good. We are good to go. Can we all hear me? All right. Thank you. Tamuna, thank you. All right. In the previous section, all right. Okay. In the previous section, okay. Can we hear me? Yes. Are we back? All right, we are back. Okay, so you don't want anybody to tamper with that data set. I said earlier, you can protect the entire workbook. In other words, you don't want anybody to have access in whatsoever inside that workbook. And to do that, you go to your file, you go to your info, you protect the workbook by entering a password. Now, in the previous session, I was showing us that when you close that particular workbook and you try to open it back, it will require that password like we have here. I closed that payroll workbook and I was trying to open it. So here it requires the password. So before I can enter, I will type in the password 12345. That's the password we use, and we say okay. Automatically, we are able to now get access into the workbook. We are now able to get access into our workbook to begin to do further analysis and to work with what we have. Now, let's take for example that yes, okay, we now say okay, if we get access into this workbook, you don't want anybody to change anything here. If they get access into the workbook, we don't want anybody to change anything here, and at the same time, we don't want anybody to change anything here. This and this is very important because this is connected to this. Any change here will affect what we display here, or whatever we have here. If we change the formula here, it can affect whatever that comes from this point. Here is what we use to show certain information. So we can decide to protect only this data. In other words, we can protect everything in this data. Persons can click here. In that case, what we are doing is we are protecting cells. We are protecting cells. In Excel, we have workbook, we have worksheet, or the sheet, or the spreadsheet, and then we have cells. Cells, the combination of cells is what gives us sheets, worksheet, and the combination of worksheet with other functions and tabs is what gives us the workbook. So having established this, how do we protect this sheet? If you want to protect this particular sheet, everything here, nobody can click anything, nobody can edit or type in anything in this sheet. If you want to do that, you go straight to review. Under review, you want to protect worksheet. You want to protect sheet. Here you type in password. Let's still think, say is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I type in that password and I say okay, it will ask me to confirm the password. I type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again, and then I say okay. So what that means is that I have protected this sheet. So I can't edit anything here. Let's say I want to change that sheet is protected. Now, if I say okay, now if I say okay and go to taxable income, I can type anything here because this particular sheet I didn't protect it. If I come here, I can type anything. It will enter because why? I did not protect this. That is simple because I did not protect it. So with that, but here I cannot change anything there. I can't change anything. So if you want to remove this protection, you go back to, if you want to unprotect it, you go back to this. You see it's now asking us to unprotect, and you click on it, type back that password. That password you use, in this case we used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I type it and say okay, that this is no longer protected. Here I can now enter some values. I can type in some values and it will go. I forgot that I put something here. So here I can type in some values, it will enter, and that is how you can protect your sheets. Now let's look at this. If I protect this sheet, let's do that again. There's another thing I want to show us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Enter. Type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Enter. Now this is protected. Now look at this. Because since it's still protected, I can select cells. I can click on any of these to select, but I can't edit anything in it. I can use it to show somebody, okay, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this is the salary for David Uche, and that this is the information for David Uche. I can click on this. But let's take, for example, I don't want to give anybody permission to even select any cell. I don't want to even give permission to select any cell. What do I do? Let's go back to our protect sheet and remove the protection first by retyping the password and hit enter. When we retype the password and hit enter, the protection is no longer there. Then let's protect it again. Let's protect it again. Now in this case, I will type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But here, I will now say this. I will remove select. These are privileges I gave. These are privileges I gave. I will remove the privileges. I will remove the privileges. So once I remove, these are locked cells. if I remove these privileges here, for example, once I remove it, the next thing I will do is I will say okay. It will ask me to retype the password. I will say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and hit enter. Now watch. You can hear me clicking, but it's not selecting. Why? Because I have removed that privilege for it to select. I have removed that privilege for it to select. Even though I'm still clicking, it's not selected. Why? Because that privilege is removed. That privilege is automatically removed. Now, that is on that aspect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hit enter. Now, for the aspects, if I click here, on this case, it will show the formula. The person can see how I got this. The person can see how I got this, even if it's being protected. But if I remove that privilege, that person will not be able to click to see that formula. So before I protect it, I can just make sure I click on any name here and go to protect and then remove the privilege. But now let's still bring in the privilege and then I will say okay. Now if I select any of this and protect it, it will go. Let's go over to remove the unprotected. Now, having established how to protect sheets, let me use the payroll slip or the salary slip to show us how to protect cells. Here we can protect sheets. We have shown us how to protect worksheet here or spreadsheet. But here I want to show you how to protect only the cells you want to protect. Only the cells you want to protect. Let's say we want to protect only these parts, only this form. That people can do anything outside the form, but you see this area is a no-go area. You can't touch anything. You can't change anything within this form, but you can do something within this place. So for us to do that, please get it. This will be a bit tricky. This other ones, to protect workbook, we went to this place and then come to info and then protect. As you can see, is under protection. It says a password is required to open. So it's still under protection, or you come over to this place and then put in password and do the structure, which is optional. Now, but already this workbook is protected. However, the one we want to show, the one we want to see, is how we can only protect this area. How we can only password protect this area. With that, on any other area outside this place, no problem, you can do anything. But within this area is a no-go area. No, don't do anything within this place. That is, that is what we are talking about. That's what we are talking about. So if that is the case, what do we do? The first thing you do when you want to protect cells, a particular range of cell or a particular cell, you can protect one cell like this, you can protect range of cells. So the first thing you do when you want to protect cell or range of cells is to come to this place, this region between 1 and 8, and click to highlight the entire worksheet. To highlight the entire worksheet. So once you highlight the entire worksheet, you come within the worksheet and right click. So once you right click, a pop-up menu will appear And once this pop-up menu appears, you will see this option called Format Cells. You see this option called Format Cells. And once you click on Format Cells, a dialog box like this will show. And when it comes out, you go to Protection. Now, under Protection, you will see that our cells are locked. All the cells in this worksheet are locked. So for you to protect a particular cell, you will have to first of all unlock all the cells. You first unlock, remove the lock from all the cells, because by default, in Microsoft Excel, by default, it comes with every cells being locked. That's by default. It comes with that. So if I remove it by clicking on the checkbox to remove the check there, and then say OK. What we have done is that every cells here are no longer locked. They are no longer locked. That's one thing we have to understand. And what is the implication of this? The implication of this is that if you protect this sheet, if you protect this particular sheet, it will not be protected. You are not protecting anything. Now let's do that. We go to Protect Sheet and type back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hit Enter. It will ask us to enter again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hit Enter. So it's telling us that this sheet is protected. However, if I type something, you see, that means no protection. If I type no protection at all, if I go to anywhere and type no protection at all, if I type even inside this place, no protection at all. So what that shows us is that once we remove the lock, the sheet, even when we protect the sheet is still unprotected. Why? Because the cells are no longer locked. So the cells are no longer locked. If you want to lock this sheet, if you want to protect this sheet very well, you will have to first of all lock the cells. So with that, knowing fully well that all the cells here are no longer locked, and for me to protect any cell here, I need to first of all lock that particular cell before protecting it. What do I do? What will I do? I can now come over to this place, highlight. This is the range that I want to lock. For example, when I highlight it, I will right click within, right click here, go to Format Cells. This will come out again, and we now lock it. So what am I telling Excel? I'm telling Excel that I'm locking only these parts. Only this part. And then I will say OK. So once that is done, and then let's do the protection again. I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Enter. Now it's telling me that this is under protection, but here nothing is there. If I come here and type, it's telling me, oh, that no, you can't change anything here. In any cell within that place, here as well, if I type nothing, I can't change. If I type, it's showing me I can't change. Here, I can't change. Here, I can't change. Provided it's within this range, I cannot change. Why? Why is it that I can change? Why is it that I can change outside, but I cannot change anything? I can type here, but within this particular range, I can't change. Why? Because I selected this range of cells and lock it. This range of cells are already locked. So when I applied Protect Sheet, this is the only range of cells that is protected. So someone can play around with anything outside here. Someone can play around outside, but you can't play within this place. That's the aspect of data security. However, we are giving the person a kind of privilege. If the person click here, or if the person click here, the person will see the formula we applied. The person will see the formula we applied. Now, if we don't want the person to see these formulas, the person can select these cells. If we don't want the person to see these formulas, what do? Let's go over to unprotect. Let's remove the protection first. Type in the previous password and hit enter. The protection is gone. So what do? We can highlight the entire range as well. In this case now, remember every sheet here are not locked. It's only this one. I will right click, go to format cells. It's showing me locked. But now in this case, I will not only lock it, I will hit every function. Now it's saying locking cells or hiding formulas has no effect until you protect the worksheet. So it's telling you that the effect of this will happen till when you protect the worksheet. So here I'm hiding formulas. I'm hiding formulas. So if I say okay, and now let's go and protect this sheet and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hit enter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hit enter. Now it's protected. It's protected. How do I know? If I come here to type, it shows me that yes, it's on protection. It shows me it's on protection. However, this one, it has a formula. This one has a formula. If I click on it, you can see that the formula is no longer displayed in the formula bar. If I click on this, it's no longer displayed. Before now, we used XLOOKUP. We use XLOOKUP to bring this. If we click here, it's selecting, and we come here, we select this to change it. It's telling us, oh, that you can't change anything here. It's still under protection. You need to remove that protection. So here, we are not seeing the formula at all. Nothing. No formula is displayed. We hit is hidden. Anything is hidden. If you select here, you will not even see anything on this. So with that, you have removed that privilege from the individual. You have removed the privilege of even seeing the formula you use. And that is how you can lock your worksheet. That is how you can also password or protect a particular cell. That is how you can lock a worksheet. That is how you can protect a particular cell. All right. Now, having done that, the next thing we are going to go into is for tonight's section. Let me remove the protection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, having shown this, and let me select this, right click, lock it back. Let me lock this and say, okay, all things being equal is okay. Now, the next thing we are going to look at is data validation. Before we wrap up tonight's section, we are going to be looking at data validation. Tonight, we are talking about conditional formatting, a basic conditional formatting, and a more advanced conditional formatting. Now, we have also talked about data security, how you can protect your data, how you can protect your workbook, how you can protect your worksheet, and how you can protect a specific data in a specific cells. You don't want anybody to change. These are different data security measures. All right. Now, the next we are going to be looking at is data validation. Data validation. Now, what is data validation? What is data validation? Data validation is is a tool in data analysis. It's a tool in data analysis we use to minimize or mitigate or, or, or ensure that errors are not incurred in data entry. Ensure that the data entry specialist didn't enter wrong information, wrong data in the data sets. So we use data validation to ensure data consistency, to ensure accurate entry of data in our data set, to guide the data entry specialist to enter the exact data we want in our data set. For example, let's go to payroll. For example, if what we need here is in this name here, the names here, we don't want, how will I put it? Let me highlight this. We don't want numbers and what have you. You can do that. At the same time, if what we have here, we don't, let's say, in this place, we don't need negative values. We don't want it to enter. We don't want any stuff that we enter here to be of a negative value. We can do that. We can do that. Okay, let's think, let me select this data. Okay, data validation. We have done stuff here. Let me clear content, clear formats. Okay. Now in data validation, let's say, let me begin by talking about this basic one. Let me begin by talking about the basic one. Let's say here states. Now in this particular aspect, I want to apply data validation here. And let's take, for example, I first of all find out the states available. Let's say I found out the states available. I say equals to, I put sort, then put unique. These arrays, remember these are array functions. And then come to states. Here, hold Control, hold Shift, press the down arrow and hit enter. Let it settle that, yes. Now it brings me all the states. It brought me out all the states. Control Shift down, copy. Copy, come to this, paste as values. So I have this as all the states. Now let's say I'm entering this down here. I don't want, these are all the states we operate. Let's say the data entry persons entering this data. I want to guide the person. I don't want the person to enter anything outside these particular states. Anything outside this range of states. These are states we operate. So we don't want the person to make mistakes in entry. We don't want the person to make mistakes in entry. Now we can come here, highlight, go to data. Under data, we come over to this, under data tools. These are families. You see get and transform queries. Under the data tools family, you come over to this particular one, or you click the drop down arrow, you have this data validation. You select it, this comes out. Now, when you come here, the first, you can select list. The first data validation stuff I will talk about is lists. The first data validation I will talk about is list. So if you select list, you might have been seeing me use it often. And then you come to source. Where is my source data? I can come here and highlight this and drag it down. This becomes my source data. So what this means is that whatever that will be on this column must come from this particular data in this range. So if I come here, I say OK. So that is to say, if I come here and select this, any of them, it will go. But if I come here and type, let's say I type UK and hit enter, it will not agree. Say this value does not match the data validation restriction defined for this cell. So you can't enter anything. You will be stuck here. You can't enter anything outside these values. If, let's say, you like enter AKT, enter. It's not in these places, that is not. So anything that you enter that is not that is not within this source is not accepted. So here we cancel it and then select anything here before we proceed out. So that is the first aspect of data validation I'm going to be talking about this night. The first aspect. And this one is the mostly used. You are going to be making use of it so often. So often. Now, the next I'm going to be talking about, let's say, revenue. Or let's say units. Let's say we have units. Let's say we have units. Now, under units, we know that our units, under units, nothing like the decimal. The units nothing like we sold 7.5 units of item. No, let's say if it's 1, it's 1, if it's 2, it's 2. And we don't want anything, any aspect of error or whatever in this particular place. We can click here to select the entire column and then come to data validation here, click, and come to validation. Here we can give it whole number. We can give it whole number. So what that entails is that if I select number, it will now give me option. Here, what is whole number in between, not equal to. If I select whole number not equals to what value, let's say we can't sell any unit 0. We can't sell any unit 0. Or we say, or let's say we say less than. We can't say anything less than 1. So if it's -1, if you mistakenly have to put -1 or -1 or so, that is the person it will not go. So if I say anything data whole number less than 1, okay, it's telling me maximum. That's this is maximum is 1. Let's say what we want to enter here is we are going to use greater than 1, for example. So greater than 1. In other words, the minimum is 1. We can't go below 1. We can't go below 1. So once we do that, we can say OK. Now, there are certain options here. We have input message. We have error alert. error alert. Now, in the input message, we can put the title here. When cell is selected, what message do you want it to appear? Or what title do you want it to show? And all that. Now, you can come to input message, you can say, let's say you type here, don't enter decimal values, for example. Don't enter decimal or any value less than 1. Don't enter decimal value or any value less than 1, for example. Then you can come here, error alerts. This error alert shows stop. I'm going to explain. There are 3 different error alerts. I'm going to explain them tonight. We have stop, we have warning, we have information. I'm going to explain them and their different strengths in data validation. So in error alert, you can say kindly check your entry and re-enter the correct data. Now we can have this. We can have this as error message. In other words, when someone enter the wrong message, you can say kindly check your entry and re-enter the correct data. So these are certain things we can put here. The title is not necessary. Then input message, we might not need the title. Then settings, we have selected what we want, whole numbers, but must be greater than 1. A minimum of 1, that's minimum of 1. So we now have what we say okay. So if I select this, you can see it shows me, it gives me a prior notice, so that the person will not say, I don't know, don't enter decimal values or any value less than 1. So if I come here and say 0.8 and hit enter, it will show me that kindly check your entry and re-enter the correct data. So it brings me the error message. It brings me the error message. Now, if I come here and say minus, stuff like this, and move away, it also shows me kindly check your entry and re-enter the correct data. Why? Because it's a negative entry. It's a negative entry which is less than 1. So in that regard, we can come over to here. If we now remove this, and let's say the unit sold is 10, and hit enter, we can now see that yes, it accepts the validation given to it because it's within the rate at which we described it. So validation helps to maintain the accurate entry, data consistency, and to ensure that error in data entry is highly mitigated. There is no error. We define what we want on a particular column. We define the kind of data we want on a particular column. For example, the next we are going to look at is here, let's say, the dates. Let's say we have here dates. And then we come to this, we click on it. We want nothing but date in this column. So we can select this. Once we do that, we go to this. So we go to data, come to validation, click on validation, come to any value, and then we select date. So once we select date, we can now define the date we want. We can now define the date we want, or the range of date we want. Let's say the date has to be this year. We don't, even if it's date, don't enter last year date. This data set is our data set that has to do within this year. It has to do within this year. So we can put between, we come here and put our start dates. When you come here in between, you can say not equals to not this greater than and all that. If you say greater than, you can say this, but here we are putting in between. Let's say we are checking the date has to be, let's say in this entry now, the date has to be January 2025 to June. Let's say we are looking at the first half of the year, or the half of the year. We can say 1st January 2025. That's the start date. Then come here, the end date. We can put the end date was my system format date, month 1st. We can say 6/30/2025. Now that's what we have as dates, and then we say okay. So if I come here now and enter, let's say I enter September 1st, 20, mistakenly, I think I'm talking about, maybe the person thinks is this last month, and move away or click enter. It will show me that this value does not match the data validation restriction. So until I enter, if I cancel it, until I enter maybe the date within this range now, for example, and enter a date within this range, it will accept it. Why? Because it falls within this is March 2021. That is on that aspect. Let's also look at this under the input message error alert. When you have stop here, this stop will definitely not allow you to enter anything else until you enter the correct one. However, if you select warning, for example, if you select warning and come to input here, everything is okay by you, the error message is warning, and you say okay. Now, let's see what will happen. If I come here and enter a date in September 2025 and hit enter, it will tell me and say, Oga, Eba, this value doesn't match the data validation restriction defined for this cell. Then the next thing it will now ask me, do you want to continue? It has given me the warning. It has warned me in the first instance. But now ask me, check, this doesn't match what is being said, but do you want to continue? If you want to continue, no problem. If I say yes, the data is allowed to enter. That's what warning is all about. Now, if I come to data validation and come to error message, let's not waste time to put in any message here, and then put information. As the name implies information, it will just give me information. So every other thing is okay by me, every other thing is okay, and I then say okay. Now let's enter another stuff here. Let's say I put 12, that's December 2023, 2025, or 23, 2025, and then hit enter. It will just tell me, it will just give me information. It will just give me the information. It will not even ask me. It will say the value doesn't match the data validation restriction for this cell. If I click OK, the data will enter. The data is allowed. So in validation, we recommend when you want to be strict, in the entry, we recommend that you turn your error alert to stop. So once that error alert is stopped and you say okay, then anything you enter here, if I enter maybe October 10, 21, 25 and hit enter, it will tell me. If I click on return, I will have to enter the correct one until it allows it. If I enter, let's say 8/2/25 and hit enter, still yet nothing until I enter the correct one. So that is the difference between warning, between information, and between stop in data validation. Now on your own, you can also feel free to check out these ones on data validation. The one of decimals, that means the value. Maybe you are working, you're a researcher, and your data set, the entry is stuff on decimal. It's not something on whole number. It's something on decimal. It's not something that has whole number in it. You can use data validation to ensure that mistakes are not made by entering whole number in that particular column. You can apply that. You can put time. You can put test length. Now, in this, let's take for example, let me come here. Let's say I use category here. Now here I come here and select, come to data validation, come to any value, select test length. Now if I select test length and I said, let's say the test length, let's say 4, minimum of 4, maximum of let's say 7, for example. Minimum of 4, maximum of 7, and then I say okay. Now in category, if I come here and I type category, let's say I type new. If I type new, it will tell me it doesn't, because the length is between 4 to 7. So if I type urban, it will enter. So depending on what you want, you can use test length if you want to ensure that the abbreviation are being used and they are used correctly. You can put it, you want 3 abbreviations and what have you can restrict it to 3 test lengths. So that is on the aspect of test length. That is also on the aspect of different validation stuff you can use to ensure data consistency and accurate entry of data in your data set. So you use validations, data validations, to ensure accurate data entry. Another aspect in data validation we can use is what we call multiple dependent drop-down. As we progress, when we talk about automated Excel forms, we will take time to look at multiple dependent drop-down. Multiple dependent drop-down list. What that is this. What multiple dependent drop-down is trying to explain. In our next section, I'm going to handle that as well. What it's trying to explain is that, for example, if I'm entering information, I select region. Let's say let's say I have a region here, region is state. If I want to enter anything, if I come to region here and select East, for example, if I want to enter anything on the states, the only states that will display are states from the Eastern region. So in that case, nobody will have a mistake of entering a southern a state in the southern region or northern region under entering a state under the eastern region, for example, or under the western region. So with that, we are guiding data entry to ensure that every entry is well handled. We call it multiple dependent drop-down list. In other words, states, the value of stuff here state depends on the region. So if it's East, the state that we display here will be East states from the East. If it's North, the states that we display here will be states from the North. That's what we refer to as multiple dependent drop-down list. We will be looking at that in our next section, on Thursday, how we can create stuff like that. However, these are the stuff as regards to data validation. We have looked at stuff as regards to conditional formatting and data formatting as well, how we can apply some data formatting as we work on our data set, how you can also make use of your border to apply white color outline or border and others, how you can also use your conditional formatting in order to make some visuals, to make some deductions in your data sets. And is on this note that I will come to the end of tonight's section. Let me know what you learned for tonight. What did you learn? And then finally, your name, your scholarship ID, your location. Those of you that stayed with me till this moment, I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes of them that are always with me towards the end of the class. I take note of those that are with me. You know, one thing about stuff is not starting. Is being consistent to ensure you get the full value to what you paid for. You know, this scholarship has been paid for, but you registered for it. It's not about making yourself or registering or stuff like that. It's about getting the full knowledge. Before now, people are more like, are you going to teach very well? Are you going to teach it very well? But now, we see person that teach well, and most of the persons that register for this scholarship are not forthcoming. I take note of those who have always been with me. And please note the assignments. We have given 4 assignments. Please note those 4 assignments. And in those 4 assignments we have entered, ensure you apply data validation in their slip. We have results slip. You prepare your results slip and the results sheet automated, the payroll and the payroll slip. You do that the same way in what we call it, leave management and inventory. We have 2-in-1 2-in-1 project assignments. That is very, very, very important we do it. Our certification our qualification to be certified is hinged on it. So ensure you do your assignment and then submit. To me, save it as template. Save it as a template so that you send it to me. Remember our submission dates for these assignments. Thank you, everyone. Much appreciated. Now your name, your scholarship ID, your location. And let me know how is tonight's section. Give me that feedback. How is the section tonight, even though we have some technical glitch, both the first section today and the last section, and this last section now. How is the section tonight? The conditional formatting, the data security, and now data validation. Let me get that feedback from us in the chat. How is the section tonight? How is the section tonight? Falaya Yonide. All right, you always are fallible. I love your spirit, Ayomide. You are always with me. Ife Osun State, good to have you. I also need us. How is the section tonight? What and what were you able to learn? In the next section, we are going to be learning something interesting, something very powerful, something that will save you hours of work in your workplace. We are going to be learning that on Thursday. On Thursday will be another interesting section with me on this scholarship. All right, let's bring it, let's keep it coming. Your name now, final attendance for tonight, your name, your scholarship ID, and your location. And also, how is the section this night? Give me that feedback, very, very important. What and what did you learn? How is the section this night? We are moving up gradually. We are taking up gradually. We are leaving the basic of Excel. We are leaving the basics. We are now venturing into the intermediate level. We have ventured into the intermediate level where we will be seeing projects, seeing different functions as regards to Excel, where we'll be doing different functions as regards to Excel. Thank you for the valuable lesson on data validation. Thank you. All right, guys, see you on Thursday for another mind-blowing section in Microsoft Excel Data Analysis Scholarship Program. I remain your facilitator, Mr. Franklin. I'm a seasoned data analyst, a management consultant.